Well, I met Mr Gwynne about 3 years ago, and we employed him to teach our children Latin on Skype, which was great. And we discussed the fact that grammar is not taught, or has not been taught very well in schools since the 1960s. And I actually agreed with him that it was a good idea to teach it.
I was teaching Latin to a whole lot of people, which involved English grammar, and I was teaching Tom's children. And one day Tom used to listen on the lessons, was so interested by this grammar that I was teaching the English grammar to teach some Latin grammar, that he said, put all this together and we'll publish it and we'll call it Gwynne's Grammar. So the entire idea was not mine. It's the same book, whether someone's age 6 or 7 is starting to learn his grammar, or 70 and starting to learn the grammar he knows he ought to have done. So it's unlike most modern grammar books, which are dumbed down for little children and much more advanced for older people. This actually is designed to be for everybody.
Well, the idea of the Bad Grammar Awards really came when we were discussing the publication of Gwynne's Grammar and how we could sort of make a splash when the book came out. And we thought it would be a good idea to do an award as part of the kind of educational strategy of this whole thing. You know, the Idle Academy has always wanted to teach grammar in different ways. One of those ways is doing a course, another might be producing a cheap book that anyone can buy. But an award ceremony has a kind of educational function behind it, and people get interested in it. It was great. We had Adrian Gill, who's one of the country's most successful journalists, fulminating against the idea that grammar should be taught.
It doesn't matter what any of you think, because it's entirely irrelevant.
And the idea of teaching grammar was vigorously defended by people like Mr Gwynne and Harry Mount and Toby Young.
But Adrian. Don't you think that it's often?
And it was a lively debate, and it's a strangely emotional subject. People get very angry on both sides. All right, well, should we conclude there? I'm just going to vote for Win, or it's going to be number 3, 2, and 1.
We have a sum up from each of you.
Yeah. The very strict grammarians would have that there are these strict rules. And there are rules, but they're all debatable, so it's a sort of strangely popular subject.
We think with words. Without words we can feel, and we can feel sorry and hungry and annoyed and so on. And the bigger your vocabulary, the richer your thinking is going to be and the more varied your thinking is going to be. But you cannot, words are completely useless and you have to use them in the right way, in the right order, for the right purpose. And grammar is simply about how we use words. And we're all grammarians, we're either good grammarians or bad grammarians. Now if we use words wrongly, with wrong grammar, we're going to think wrongly. If we think wrongly, we're going to take bad decisions. If we take bad decisions, we're going to actually, sometimes we'll only be a nuisance, but sometimes we're going to ruin our lives. So happiness, the result of our good decisions, ultimately depends on grammar. But it doesn't stop there. Enough people taking wrong decisions affects the whole of society. So the well-being of society depends ultimately on grammar. And enough societies taking wrong decisions, well, civilization is made up of all the societies in it. So you can actually say, it sounds absurd, but it's actually true. Civilization ultimately depends partly on grammar, good grammar. So it has my case.